another class on Democratic Politics 1 under the domain of Political Science for class 9. Let's get ahead with the session. So let's first see, why do we need a constitution? What is a constitution? Constitution is the supreme law that determines the relationship among people living in a territory that are also called citizens, and the relationship between the people and the government. It generates a degree of trust and coordination that is necessary for different kind of people to live together. That's also called as unity in diversity. The Constitution specifies how the government will be constituted and who will have the power to take what decisions and when. It lays down the limits on the powers of the government and tells us what the rights of the citizens are. So it does not give unlimited powers to the government. It cuts down on the limits and tells what kind of rights we citizens will have. It expresses the aspirations of the people about creating a good society. Let's see how the Indian Constitution was made. First, let's go into the background. The making of the Indian Constitution was for a huge and diverse country. You know, like India is a huge and a diverse country. So hence, making a constitution that is common to everyone with equal rights, it was definitely not an easy affair. At that time, the people of India were emerging from the status of subjects to that of citizens. This is the time from after the Mughal period and when the Britishers entered. So since then, the constitution has been come into force. The country was born through a partition on the basis of religious differences, with at least 10 lakh people killed on both sides of the border in partition related violence. We know that India and Pakistan became separate countries post 1947. The British had left it to the rulers of the princely states to decide whether they wanted to merge with India or Pakistan or remain independent, which was definitely an uncertain task. This is British India before 1947 and the partition. This is after partition, where the yellow portion here is completely Indian domain. This is West Pakistan and this is East Pakistan. So the current Bangladesh is East Pakistan. It was Pakistan. Now it is Bangladesh. Let's see the paths to the constitution. What are the processes and the paths that led to the constitution making? So in 1928, Motilal Nehru, who also happens to be the father of Jawaharlal Nehru, and 8 other Congress leaders drafted a constitution for India. Also, please keep in mind that the Congress that's mentioned here is Indian National Congress, and it was the sole party that was in rule then. So in 1931, the resolution at the Karachi session of the Indian National Congress dwelt on how independent India's constitution should look like. So the 1928 scenario and the 1931 scenario, they were both committed to what principles? Let us see. First, inclusion of UAF. Like I've told you earlier, anyone 18 and above have the right to vote. Right to freedom and equality. To protecting the rights of minorities in the Constitution of Independent India. The familiarity with political institutions of colonial rule also helped develop an agreement over the institutional design. This means before we were ruled by the British rule, that is the colonial rule. So whatever policies they were in place back then helped in the making of the constitution as well. Let's see, for example, elections of 1937 to provincial legislatures all over British India gave insights into the working of the legislative institutions. Let's see what are the sources of the Indian Constitution. This means from where and what areas have been picked up from different constitutions of the world to make the Indian Constitution. So Government of India Act was passed in 1935 by the colonial government and the Indian National Congress. So let's see what features were taken from the Government of India Act into making of the Constitution. First is the federal scheme, that is your center and state relations. Then you have the office of the governor. Then you have emergency provisions. Then you have public service commissions. Next, let's see what was taken from the Constitution of France. Remember I told you that there's a document called the preamble in the Constitution that's also the heart and soul of the Constitution. So under the preamble, ideals like liberty, equality, fraternity and republic were taken from the French Constitution. Then we have Russia. Fundamental duties, ideals of justice that is mentioned in the preamble were taken from the Russian Constitution. Then let's see what was taken from UK. Parliamentary democracy, bicameralism and the cabinet system was taken. United States of America, fundamental rights, which are the most important and exclusive rights given to any citizen. Judicial review and the office of the vice president were taken from the USA. So these are all the ideas that are present in the Indian Constitution right now. That's it for today's session. Please subscribe and join YouTube live classes, which are the best for JEE and NEET coaching. Also, do look up the mobile app of FirstOnlineUniversity and you will get it on Google Play and App Store. Please get it. Thank you. See you in the next session.